Good morning and welcome to Happy Trails Hiking. My name is Kay and this is the Healthy Lifestyle Show. On this show, I want to offer you encouragement to live the life you love. This is Travel Tuesday and I have a special guest for you today. Before we get to that, please allow me to tell you that our show today is brought to you by our photography store. You can get all of our travel photos on various things like mugs, pillows, even posters or canvas for your walls. You can find those photos at happytrailshiking.com/store. My guest for you today is Amy Piper. Amy Piper is a travel writer, photographer, and blogger who has had 6-month expat assignments in South Korea and Argentina. Bomb-sniffing dogs chased her in the middle of the night in Bogota. Gate agents refused her boarding to Paraguay, wrong visa. And federal marshals announced her seat on a plane looking for a murder suspect. They had traded places. It's always an adventure. Amy is on the editorial board of Food, Wine, Travel magazine. You can follow her adventures at followthepiper.com. Amy, it is so great to have you on today. Thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for having me, Kay.
Aw, I met Amy in Medora, North Dakota at the Midwest Travel Conference last summer, and I can't wait for you all to get to meet her today. Amy, we have a wonderful room with us today. I do want to thank the live audience that is here with us today. And we have Desmond Stonders, and he's from across the pond. We also have our Haunted Travels Panic D is here. Marty's Crew, Our Family Adventures. Deb Shane. Desmond Stonders says hello to you.
Hi, Desmond.
And he's over in Scotland. So we have Scotland and Ohio and Missouri, and Marty's Crew, Our Family Adventures is here. So we have Kansas as well. So what a great room we have. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to jump into my questions with Amy, but if you have questions for her as we go along, please put at Happy Trails Hiking, and I will see those questions and we'll try to get them on the show for you. All right. So my first question for you today, Amy, is how did you get started in travel writing?
Well, I started with Great Escape Publishing. They had a home travel writing course, and I took that and I wrote one article and it was published. So then they had these face-to-face workshops. So I went ahead and signed up for that. So in 2016, I went to New Orleans in September and I got my real start then. I had a challenge at the end of the course to publish one article within 30 days. And I was able to get that published on Miles Geek. And then from there today, since September of 2016, I've written about 110 travel articles for other travel sites.
Oh, wow.
Many different ones.
That's really cool. Okay, so a challenge was what got you started in travel writing. That's amazing. I like it. Some people are like, oh, I studied journalism and I did all this stuff. And I knew that I always wanted to be a writer and I love travel. Nope. I love that a challenge got you started and you have now done all this fantastic work. I have to ask that from your bio, you got chased by a dog. Bomb-sniffing dog. Now, I understand trading places with a murder suspect. That's okay. I'm all right with that. What about these bomb-sniffing dogs in the middle of the night in Bogota?
Well, I was working for a major IT company as a program project manager. And in 2003, the climate in Bogota was rather dicey, if you will. My manager said, I don't want to send a woman, but she sent a team and I begged her to go because I was a Spanish major as an undergraduate and I couldn't wait to get there. And so finally she conceded because she didn't have anybody else. And so I went there, and right down from where we were, our office was, there was an athletic club that had been bombed. And that had happened fairly recently. And that was kind of what was going on in Bogota at the time. And that was in 2003, so many years ago. Mm-hmm. And so we were warned, never go out and take a taxi. We have provided you transportation. We have a driver and a shuttle. So that morning, the shuttle took the group of us into the office, and they used the little mirrors to look underneath the car, and the bomb sniffing dog sniffed around the car, and we went in, and it was a very long day. In fact, it was very tense because we were going into an underperforming organization and trying to get them to change some things that they were doing in program project management and other things. And so anyway, it got to be very late, like 11 or 12 o'clock. And the account manager was supposed to come back and get us and have us get on this shuttle that they provided for us. But because of all of the angst that was happening, she kind of forgot. And so I was there with a couple of other guys, and one of them was very fluent in Spanish. He was from Venezuela originally. So he started calling his colleagues, and then he would check with me. Well, are you okay with this? Are you okay with that? Because we were not to get in a taxi. And so first we decided we were going to try and get the hotel to send a shuttle. But the hotel said it's way too late to do that. By then it was 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, no.
And so finally he said, well, Amy, what do you think if we call the taxi service, get the taxi number, and have them come and pick us up? And I said, okay. I read that was a good thing to do. So they came, and we didn't have the key card to go down the elevator. So we had to walk down with our computer bags 9 flights of steps to get to the place where we could exit the building. And of course, they had these bomb sniffing dogs running up and down the stairwell.
No.
To make sure that no one was coming in and, you know, setting things. So all of a sudden they came barking at us.
Oh my God.
I went running into the lobby as much as I could run with my computer bag and that kind of thing, up the stairs, slammed the door into the lobby. My colleagues are on the other side of the door with the dogs. Finally, they snuck in, as you know, we opened the door just a little and they came in, and then we just stood there in the lobby. Now, what do? There's the taxi, and we have no way to just walk out and get into the taxi.
Oh, geez.
So finally, the janitor heard the dogs, and he came and realized that we were just not knowing what the heck we were doing. And
the Americans.
Yeah. And he tied up the dogs and let us out through the garage.
Oh.
We avoided getting bit by the bomb sniffing dogs, but we actually got back to the hotel about 4 in the morning.
Oh, geez. We have a few new people in the room, and one of them is April Berry, and she's saying hello from Minivan Adventures. And so,
hi, April. How are you?
It's good to see you, April. Thanks for coming. And April's going to be back on with me here in a couple of weeks. We're working on a collaboration, so I'm excited about that. Inspired John is also here and has traveled to Venezuela and says that Venezuelans speak Spanish so fast. So welcome. And Panic D, our haunted travels, is saying that the bomb sniffing dogs freak him out a little bit. So anyway, yes. And another person who just popped in, Northern Ohio Railroad Action. It's great to see you. Thank you for coming. This is Amy Piper, and you can follow along on her travel blog at followthepiper.com. She's also on Twitter, and I found out she has a really large following on Twitter this morning when I tagged her in the post. So follow her on Twitter. But my next question for you is that travel professionals are always telling stories about places that they go and people that they meet. I bet you have had some interesting people that you've met across your travels. Who is one person that sticks out in your mind that you may never forget, Amy?
The one person that is, when I was an expat in Seoul, South Korea, I had a driver named Mr. Yang, and he was great getting us through traffic and kind of watching out for me. Like, he would take, if we went on a weekend adventure, he would, I remember vividly just stopping on the street, talking to some Canadians, speaking English. And he kind of hoovered around to say, you know, is everything okay? Why, you know, why are you talking? He was just kind of protecting me, if you will, to keep me out of situations that might be dangerous. And then when my family came, my daughter, he took her to camp and made sure that she was comfortable before he left her. And so really, Mr. Yang stuck out in my mind. And it's kind of funny, but as he went, he said, you know, I used to drive for the Philippine embassy, and the lady there taught me American pop songs. And he said to me, as I go, or as you go, I remember one American pop song, Please Don't Go.
Oh, so, that is excellent.
So he and I were kind of buddies, and I've never seen him again. That was in 1997. But when I was talking to my family about this one person, they all said, oh, Mr. Yang.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's always nice to have that one person that's going to kind of shepherd you through life that way. For those of you who are new to the room, I want to let you know that this is Amy Piper from the blog followthepiper.com. And Amy, is it okay if I share your blog?
Sure.
With the world today? Amy's a newer blogger. She's traveled a lot, but and written a lot. But she's a newer blogger. So I would love to have you all share this out so that other people would meet Amy. And I would love to have you go over to her blog and tell her that you saw her on Happy Trails hiking. That would be amazing. But she has a new blog out for National Plan for Vacation Day, which is January 28th, 2020.
1 week from today.
Yes, 1 week from today. Exactly. So we are, she's getting us ready for National Plan a Vacation Day. And so she gives awesome tips for planning a vacation and some tips on just how to get out there and go. So I really want you, I like the first one the most, prioritize travel. And that's something that Marty's Crew, our family adventures, does from Kansas. They are a family of 6. And so they really have tried to prioritize local travel this year. And I think that they will like your blog quite a lot. I do want to say hello to Down the Rabbit Hole Travel. And she is one of my travel YouTube friends. So welcome, Marty. It's good to see you. So awesome. What are some of the tips that were your favorite? I liked prioritize travel, Amy, but what were some of the things that were your favorite on the blog?
Well, I think the big thing that people need to remember is, yeah, you're traveling to Europe. I've been to 41 countries and 42 states. So you're always thinking about going far. But one of my tips is, you know, do the mini micro vacations. Get out there and see your own area, see the Midwest, or so
I like that. This one right here, that take shorter trips more often. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I won't give away the whole blog. So yeah, everybody go check that out. Make sure that you leave a comment on her blog and say, hey, Amy, I saw you with Kay on Happy Trails hiking. That'll be good, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. April Berry said, I loved Amy's third tip in that post. I am totally creating a beach kit for my family after reading that suggestion. That's awesome. See, April already learned stuff. So
that's exciting.
Really cool. Yes, Lori Bryant is here, and she happens to be my sister. So good morning, Lori. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming. She said she'll come back and catch the beginning later. But Desmond Stonder says shorter trips are just as awesome, and that is true. Dave is of Desmond Stonders, and they have a camper van called Desmond, and they tour around and take lots of little trips. So that's good. And Down the Rabbit Hole said shorter trips are what got her through 2019. Me too. we did. I think that. Go ahead.
People sometimes think they don't have time to travel, but there's always the weekends or whatever day that you get that's a break, or even check out a new museum that's open in an evening when you're off work. So you can really squeeze it in.
Yeah, travel doesn't have to be epic vacations. You just need a little getaway. I found that our county parks, for us, we're about park travel, but our county parks are just wonderful here in our area. And we found out so many new places just by going and looking for little escapes. So that was a great tip, Amy. I love it.
Thank you.
My next question is this one. I just love this one from most of my travel bloggers. What do you like best about travel and food writing?
Well, I get some great meals and have some great meals. And what do I like best is I feel like I experience the destination more completely than I perhaps did before I started writing. I speak to the waiters and the servers and find out, what's their favorite restaurant? What's your favorite dish? I really feel like I dig in and experience everything more deeply. And so I have a better appreciation of the destination.
Oh, wow. That's a great answer. I understand getting to eat some great stuff and see some great places, but getting to, just experiencing, I had never thought of that. Just experiencing something because you're hoping to tell other people about it.
Right. So don't you find that you ask more questions since you've started writing and that you dig deeper?
Yes. Or, well, in my case, vlogging, I find out what the little things are that, hey, this campsite's really good, or, the best view is over here, and the best time to go and see this thing is at this time. And, the lunch menu at this restaurant is great. And, you get it for cheaper and so on and so forth. So yes, I do find that. So that is a great, great point. Let's see. Marty Screw Our Family Adventure says, many of our local followers comment on the smaller locations that they didn't even know were there. So it says shorter trips are awesome. They have a little bit of a lag, by the way, Amy. So they're seeing us about 40 seconds later. Inspired John says, my mom, for some reason, wants to see the red light district in Amsterdam. She's 80. Well, to each their own. It's a thing. I don't know. And then, he says, I'm not going to go with her. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Down the Rabbit Hole says, I do local trips around here, which is in central Alberta, Canada. And those videos seem to get tons of views because people here are like, right, that place, we should go. And then they share it. So yes, that's one of my favorite things to do is do local things and show what local things we have around here, because big things get videos and articles all the time. So that's really fun. Oh, we've got more additions to our international audience. Gemma's Journey Grace is here from the UK, and Karen Summers is here, and she covers lots of local things over in the Netherlands. So we've really got a really international audience today, Amy. Look what you're doing. Pulling in all these international people. My next question is, what is the hardest part about being a travel writer?
Oh, that's definitely balancing the travel and the writing, because in the summer, it seems like I'm doing back to back to back to back trips. It's hard to really get all of the articles that I want to write done in that summer period. And so I find that in the wintertime now in Michigan, where we're knee deep in snow and it's cold and I want to stay in for the weekend. We recently had an ice storm. Those are the perfect times to do the writing part. But trying to write and travel at the same time is a bit of a challenge for me.
I hear you. That seems to be one of the big things for most of the travel writers. I may have to quit asking that question because we all seem to have the same answer: getting all the writing done. Because people seem to think that we just have fun all the time and get to go all these cool places, but we still have to write about it and get it all done. All right. Your dream destination or tour, what would that be? Where do you want to go?
Well, you know, I recently looked back at a Stephen Covey class that I took where I had kind of written a bucket list of places that I went and there or wanted to go. And on that list, I realized, and this was in the late 90s that I wrote it, that I had been to all of those places but one. And the one place that I haven't gone is Machu Picchu. And so that's the one place that was on my list that I want to seek out. It's been on my list since the 90s. And so I want to do that. And then I'm also interested in starting to explore some of the smaller Midwest towns. So,
oh, wow, that's fun. I do want to say thank you to Inspired John, who just gave us a super chat for our interview today. Thank you so much. Karen Summers says, I visited the Anna Frank house in Amsterdam. Way better than the red light district. She said. And yes, that's interesting. And Karen Summers says, we always think we have to travel far to see beautiful things. And, you know, I think that some people think that as well. But we writers and vloggers are people who get to show them that, no, we don't have to go a long ways. Machu Picchu sounds amazing, by the way. That's really cool. Peru is on down the rabbit holes bucket list travel goal, and Inspired John has been there and says you will love Machu Picchu. So,
oh, great.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I can't wait to read your blog from there and see all your pictures. Amy's an amazing photographer. She has some photojournalism stuff going on her blog as well. And you can find that at www.followthepiper.com. And I love that blog name. I was going to normally ask, hey, where'd your blog name come from? But yours is pretty self-explanatory. I love it. Let's
Thank
see.
you.
And then I guess if you all have any questions for Amy, you need to ask quickly because we're coming to the end of our time. But my last question for you, Amy, is what else would you like our viewers to know? What are your last thoughts for us?
Well, you've done a great job asking people to check out my blog and interact with me. If you have questions for me on Instagram, Amy the Piper Travels, or Facebook, Follow the Piper, or my Twitter, interact with me, ask me questions. I'd love to get to know people more.
Awesome. Well, Amy has been wonderful getting to know last year. I love talking with her at the conference. She always had good tips and fun, just very personable. So yes, please interact with Amy. And I do have a question from Desmond Stonders. Hasn't popped up yet. There it is. It says, do you plan to branch into YouTube at all?
There's always a possibility. This is really my first YouTube chat, so we'll see how it goes, how it looks after the fact on the recording, and maybe that'll spur me to get into that too.
That's it. I'm gonna actually bend her ear for just a little bit and encourage her after the live show. I've got some ideas for her because I've seen her photographs and I know that she can do some awesome YouTube videos, and people will be really interested in that. Sorry, I was trying to read and talk at the same time. Inspired John says, Amy, feel free to ask me about Peru. It is wonderful. So yeah, you can reach out to him. He's on Instagram and Twitter, and not on Facebook, but Instagram and Twitter for sure. So anyway, yeah, great. Great interview, Amy. I think you've done a wonderful job for your first time on YouTube. Great debut for you. And if you'll hang out for just a couple minutes, well, just a little bit, I'm going to finish out the show and then I'll come back with you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. I do need you to do a lot of stuff for me today. 3 things mostly. 1, hit the like button and share this out with friends who you think will want to meet Amy. And let's do that a lot because, like I said at the beginning, she's a newer blogger and she's travel writing for a long time. Got a great writing style, but her blog's new. So let's share that out a lot. 2, go over and see Amy and say hello and tell her that you found her on Happy Trails Hiking. Follow her on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And then 3, go out and live the life you love today. And remember, you are not replaceable. And I will see you on Friday for Foodie Friday. Thanks, everybody.